Hey guys, Uncle Ray. Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Bellwether. I don't always tell you what you want to hear, but I tell you what you need to hear to make an informed decision. And that's never been a more true statement than in this video. Today we're going to dive into the ISO 20022 tokens, the banking reset, and this chart is going to kick start it. Now, I know that most people watching this has probably seen this chart of the ISO 222 tokens and how that all uh, is set up for them to absolutely dominate the banking sector. But now, I just want to go through how when I look at this chart, it tells me something that probably 99% of you guys are not going to see, or you're going to see it totally different. And that's okay. Because quite frankly, guys, I truly believe that anyone that owns the ISO tokens and just buys them and stacks them and just waits, they're going to do very, very well. Now, this is not financial advice, but I want you just to follow along and get some more information that, quite frankly, I haven't seen anyone out there providing to people. We all get the standard same information and hype about all the ISO tokens, some more than others, but they leave out the competition and they leave out the big picture uh, of following the money, following the power. That's what I do. I used to work for Bear Stearns. Bear Stearns was a global powerhouse like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. So I have a different perspective. And trust me, guys, nothing is as it appears. You want to follow the money, and I truly know, and I've said it 1,000 times, that the the central banks, Wall Street, and the U.S. government picks winners and losers to the best of their ability. So you want to see what they're doing, see how they move money around and what their agenda is, and that is a big insight to how you want to invest, in my opinion. Again, none of this financial advice. Now, when you look at the chart, I know a lot of guys look at that and say, see, there's Ripple, there's XRP. I'm a big fan of all of them. There's XDC, R3. They're going to do a lot of marketing for XDC. They're a powerhouse. Quant, wonderful tokenomics, right? Guys, they're all going to get their share. I truly believe that. But I look at that chart totally different than most people. And here's what I want you guys to see. I want you to focus right here in the center. Look what we're looking at, guys. We're looking at Ethereum, Consensus, and JP Morgan. Now, also on this chart, you see IBM, you see Accenture, right? Now, they may be just as big financially as JP Morgan, but I'm here to tell you they do not have anywhere close to the political clout as JP Morgan. Like in '08, when there was the crash, JP Morgan got called to the White House along with the leaders like Goldman Sachs and said, hey, what are we going to do? So, their clout, their political clout is deep. Now, that's what I want you guys to understand and focus on. Now, let's take a look at who and what JP Morgan is all about just briefly. Now, what you see on the screen is JP Morgan offers ISO 222 payment initiation and reporting capabilities. Now, guys, these are the type reports that they are sending out to banks, right? I want you to think of JP Morgan as like a banker's bank, not maybe the central banks, but the other banks. And that's just one of the thousands of different avenues that they're in. But they basically, educate the banking sector about interest rates, about what to do with their money, all kinds of stuff. And those relationships have been going on since 1871. That's why it matters, guys, because no matter how new the technology, no matter who comes walking in the door to sell something to a bank, no matter how transformative it is, you got J.P. Morgan, one of the many, sitting there, uh, probably already in the man's office watching you give the presentation. And not only that, guys, if you offer a product that they can't offer, they will figure out how to match it, how to clone it, or how to flat out buy it. And that's what we're going to talk about. And that's what I want you guys to focus on, because if you understand what I'm saying, I truly believe you'll make a lot more money. And that's why we invest. So here's just a little bit of information. And guys, this is an old report, but you want to know a little bit about JP Morgan. Look at this, about JP Morgan's Treasury Services. That's one small division, or not small division, but that's just one division. It says JP Morgan is a top ranked full service provider of an innovative payment collection, liquidity management, trade finance, commercial card, and information solutions corporations, financial services, uh, institution, middle market companies, small businesses, governments, and municipalities worldwide. More than 50,000 clients, and the presence in 39 countries. Is one of the JP Morgan Treasury Services is one of the world's largest provider of treasury management services, and a division of JP Morgan Chase Bank, FDIC, and all that. Down below, it talks about how they're in more than 60 countries, and this is like a 5-year-old article. It says they're worth 2.1 trillion, or they have 2.1 trillion of assets under management, but that is just under 4 trillion. I looked it up. It's like 3.79 or something like that. So that's who JP Morgan is, guys. So they have some inroads with the banks. When you come, when a customer, I've been in sales my whole life, but when you go into to offer a service, most people have a guy. Well, the bank, no matter what you present to that bank, they're going to call people like JP Morgan and say, hey, can you tell me about the new digital dollar? Can you tell me about CBDCs? Can you tell me about cross-border payments? I'm getting a lot of information. They write those articles. They show up in their private planes. They take them out to golf, whatever. They talk to them at the World Economic Forum. That's how it works, guys. And it's important because it's not any way, shape, or form a level playing field. Now, what you see on the screen, the secret disclosed, JP Morgan owns critical Ethereum infrastructure. Well, guys, what is that all about? Well, you've heard of consensus. Bear with me. You've heard of consensus. I don't know why. Hold on. Right? Consensus acquires JP Morgan's Quorum blockchain, right? So they basically merged, and there's a lawsuit going on because of some of the, I think there's like 35 people that were founders, a part of it. They believe that JP Morgan has more controlling interest than they should, and there's a conflict of interest. There's a big lawsuit, but that's not what this is about. But they are one of the same. And when you go to Consensus website, unlock Web3, build on Ethereum. So you have Consensus, which is basically JP Morgan has a big interest in Consensus. They own a big interest in Quorum, right? Well, what else? Check this out. MetaMask. Introducing MetaMask Institutional, right? MetaMask Institutional enables uh, institutional investors to engage in DeFi with the world's most trusted Ethereum wallet. Guys, whether we like it or not, Ethereum, and believe me, when I uncovered this about a year ago, I got triggered. I didn't like it. But whether we like it or not, Ethereum, I'm not going to say it's centralized in the way people think, but Wall Street is knee deep in controlling and having a say in how things transpire with that blockchain. Let's just leave it at that. And I'm not here to judge because I can't change, guys. I'm just a small guy, with a YouTube channel trying to make sense of it all so I can share my information and make some money. That's what it's all about. But now, Consensus designed MetaMask. Do you see how it all ties together, guys? Now, this is just an example of Onyx, which is also called Linux, Linx, which is owned by JP Morgan. What is that? Well, it's another entity pushing everything to JP Morgan onto Ethereum. Formed in 2020, Onyx has pioneered the world's first bank-led blockchain platform for the exchange of value, information, and digital assets. Now think about it, guys. No one ever talks about that. We're talking over 2 years ago, JP Morgan is knee deep coming up with blockchain platforms to talk to their banks about, right? So for whatever it's worth, and again, not here to insult any of the tokens that I love, but they're not just going to walk in and take the technology or throw their technology at the banks and get their business. The banks are going to fight to keep their relationships and their money, their profits, and their power. And JP Morgan is going to help them do that because they're one and the same, guys. And they have a very, very tight relationship for whatever that's worth. Now, we know that it's working. And I've done a video, which I'll leave the link down below, about Ethereum, basically just got awarded the Australian bank CBDC. It's going to set on Ethereum through Quorum, which JP Morgan set that up, which just proves the point that I'm trying to bring you guys. Now, check this out. CBDCs, what happens when fiat currency lands on public Ethereum? Let me read below. Public Ethereum already has digital dollars, more than 30 billion worth. What might it look like for a central bank digital currency on Ethereum's mainnet? Just more information that most people haven't been provided. Whether you like Ethereum or not, don't hate on the gas fees and all the things that people talk bad about Ethereum. I get it, guys. It's not even any way, shape, or form the best technology. It's behind the 8 ball. I personally believe that that's what the XRP lawsuit is about. It's letting Ethereum play catch up, letting the banks play catch up, which I don't need to get off on that rant. But, it just keeps going on and on. Now, this is another cool article. JP Morgan's Onyx wants to liberate the bank account. Now, in this article, they talk about they partner with Siemens, which everyone knows Siemens. That's a very big global corporation, right? Well, they talk about how they are moving into the heart of Web 3. So they are pioneering basically how finance and how the treasury among corporations and all can move on to the blockchain through JP Morgan. But what I wanted you to read to you guys is they talk about how step one, we've got to, create it, then we've got to test it, then we've got to prove the model works with a huge global powerhouse. And see, once JP Morgan proves a concept with a major corporation, guys, they're all going to follow. Whether we like it or not, that's how it works. And that's what these blockchains can't maybe necessarily do. They don't have the know-how, quite frankly, because, developers understand what they do, building the powerhouse in the future and all that. But they're not into banking. They're not into relationships. They're not into, how to market, how to dominate an industry. That's where JP Morgan makes their living. That's what they do. Now, the last thing I wanted to say was, and they talk about it would, if they get that done right, it would position JP Morgan at the heart of Web3 finance as a necessary intermediary within the world of public blockchains such as Ethereum. So see, JP Morgan is trying to set this up with a huge global conglomerate. Sorry if I said that right. And they are going to uh, throw immense amount of activity onto Ethereum. Now, the last thing is I want to read something to you. Blockchain Solutions for Central Bank Digital Currency, CBDC. That's the title. It says blockchain technology bring unique advantages to CBDC. Ethereum, in particular, is the most production-ready blockchain to support CBDC requirements. So, guys, do with that information what you will. I'm not here to shill Ethereum at all, and I like all the ISO tokens. Honestly, some of them are my absolute favorites. HBAR, XDC, I absolutely love those tokens. However, I'm here to make money. And in my opinion, you got to see the big picture. And hopefully, if you've understood what I've showed you, it's not so simple that just because they're ISO certified and they're part of that chart, that they're going to get a huge piece of the pie. And I've said it before, and I'll leave a link down below that Ethereum's going to get the lion's share. And I suggest you watch that video if you haven't. And the reason they're going to get the lion's share is because of all the major corporations that are behind them. Guys, when JP Morgan puts $50 million in, and then they go to BlackRock, and they go to Microsoft. By the way, guess who was an early investor in Consensus? Microsoft. And guess who created Consensus? He was a co-founder of Ethereum. See how it's all tied together, guys? And look, Ethereum's ecosystem is so massive, it has so much money and so much power, and in my opinion, the US government has been weaponized against the rest of them to let Ethereum win. Time will tell if that's right. But guys, hopefully I've showed you a way to follow the money and you'll see things different. That being said, that's all I got for you guys. I really want you to tell me what you think in the comments. Now, I don't want a lot of hate. Give me some factual information that I can use, right? I'm just giving you guys information of how I see things from my perspective and from my background. If you disagree and you have a different perspective, please, I back all mine up with reasoning. I want that from you. I love factual information, right? Because just because we think something is going to transpire like we want it to, that's not how the real world works, guys. It's nothing like it appears. And trust me, when you got somebody like JP Morgan who can pick up the phone and call the White House behind you, it's hard to lose. Now, that doesn't mean they end up being the absolutely one that wins, the lion's share in 10, 20, 30 years, but no one's going to beat them in the next, say, 5. And hopefully we've made plenty of money by the time that transpires. That being said, guys, this is not financial advice. I truly believe that no one can go wrong with any of the ISO 222 tokens, but whether you like it or not, don't pass on Ethereum necessarily. Go down the rabbit hole. Whether it triggers you or not, it's all about making money. And for the risk reward, guys, I'm telling you, Ethereum is a powerhouse. And once we get regulation, whenever that is, Wall Street is going to go to Bitcoin first, and then they're going to pile in to Ethereum. Then they'll go to the altcoins later. But look, guys, when it comes to Wall Street, they put the bulk of their money in the very conservative things. They do not want to lose their money. So they know if they all get together and they keep feeding whatever it is, that it's going to be hard for it to not do well. That's why Wall Street picks one, two, or three, say blockchains to invest in, because they're all going to pile in on it. Yes, it's going to get spread around, but you're going to just get, a small percent of their portfolio. Just like mine, the bulk of my portfolio as it sits right now is in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Even though I own like 18 different tokens, it's not even close proportionally of what I own of them. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for you. If you like this, please hit that like button. It helps us out a lot. And we want you to subscribe, be part of this community. So go ahead and mash that notifications and come back and be part of this community. And remember, guys, not financial advice. Take care.